All right, this is a raw, unfiltered look at our crazy lifestyle. Today, we're hitching up and we're beginning our journey towards Chicago. We're technically towards Pennsylvania, where we'll be boarding a plane to hop over to Chicago to then run the marathon. The goal is to get out of here around 9 a.m., which is a miracle for us because we're never on time to leave the campground, but we have a long drive the next few days. And there's a timer for something. I don't know what the timer's for. That's how it rolls around here. A little bit chaotic sometimes on moving day.
The timer is for toast because I'm making us some food before we hit the road. And I also need to shower because since we've got 2 travel days back to back, we probably won't hook up the sewer at the next campground.
Lauren just mentioned she's gonna shower, and that means I need to go empty the tanks because I haven't done that yet. As you may know, I call the gray tank Lauren's tank, so it can quickly fill up if you're not careful. I just need to find my sandals. Did you record that? I'm all congested today. I feel terrible. My sinuses are all clogged, which is not good because I'm going to run a marathon, which I have not trained for. And my hair looks like crap. And a bedhead. So this is like, wow, this is really raw. So. Oh gosh. Ow!
His flip-flops are in the truck. This is probably why Daniel records most of the time. Because if it's gonna be me, then you're gonna get to see it all. Hi, hi.
So if you were to look at some of our earlier videos, we would probably look a little closer to like YouTube Insta Perfect versus now. Clearly I have not shaven and I look like a mess, but that's okay.
Dad life.
Dad life, yeah. Shout out to No Locks, the No Locks Airstream solution. No, not sponsored or anything, but my friend gave us this shirt and I dig it. I've been wearing it a lot. It's long sleeve, it's been chilly out, so don't really have a lot of clothes, so this is really nice.
Did you dump the tanks?
No, I forgot. What do you think about that? Is that funny? Daddy went outside to do a job and he forgot. As you can see, there's plenty of tree coverage, which has been amazing. The downside is that the cellular connectivity has been a little rough, so our AT&T and Verizon cards are not really working all that well. And because of the tree coverage, I've had to, well, let me just show you. I ran my Starlink dish all the way out here on this hill. For you Starlink users out there, you know you get like a 75 feet of cord. 2 days ago, I was looking through my window and I saw the long guy coming through, like just blazing through this area. And I was like, oh crap, he's gonna run over the cord. So I like ran out here and I'm like, stop! And I caught him like right before he ripped through my 75 feet of Starlink cord. And it is not an easy cord to replace. It's proprietary, has like proprietary connectors and all that crap. But literally, if you have Starlink and you run it out like I just did, be on the lookout for people cutting the lawn because they will cut your cord. Okay, so the tanks are now officially dumped. I'm gonna spare you the details of showing you that because you don't really want to see me dumping tanks. Make sure that when you're dumping tanks, you wear the appropriate footwear. This is not it right here. You should not wear sandals. You should probably wear something closed-toed and maybe with some Gore-Tex just in case you get a little bit of splash. The graphic there, but that's RV life. Over the last 2 campgrounds, the water pressure has been abysmal, probably like 35 to 40 PSI. So ideally it would be closer to 50. So we get some water pressure coming out of the shower. Unfortunate thing is when it's like 35 to 40 PSI, when you're taking a shower, it's like dribble, dribble, dribble. So not great for getting the shampoo and conditioner out of your hair. But there's always campground, showers as well. But it's been cold, so we haven't really gone over to the campgrounds. The reality is we haven't showered that much this week. The good news is we're gonna be staying in Marriott in a couple of days in Chicago because it's close to the start and finish line, and we'll be taking some long, hot showers. After we eat breakfast, then we have to head over to the studio truck so we can meet with the hair and makeup team and get ready for like our YouTube video today. Not really, no, there's no hair and makeup team. Of course, you already know that. But yeah, that's what's going on right now. We're just gonna eat some fancy breakfast.
Hey, first of all, I usually make pretty good breakfast every morning. I make breakfast sandwiches, I make smoothies, right, Dash? But today is a travel day, and we're supposed to be out of here in exactly an hour, Daniel, and you haven't even started anything outside.
We're already behind schedule, but if you've been following us for a while, you know we're never on time, except for ferries.
Daniel loves peanut butter and honey toast. He said he read it online somewhere. It's actually pretty tasty. Paper plates means I don't have any more dishes to do this morning. Right, baby Dash? Yeah, that's a win.
21 minutes to go. I don't think we're gonna make it. Putting on some cool socks here that a friend gave me. I got this the Starlink travel case. Obviously, I'm not sponsored by Starlink because I don't think anybody is, but it's been pretty nice. It's pretty durable. It gives a Starlink a kind of a safe place to put when we're moving campgrounds. So that's been kind of cool. It's kind of pricey. It's about 250 bucks. So not cheap, but I also didn't want to break the Starlink because we move a lot. One thing I always forget to do is the absolute only way the satellite's fitting in there is if you put it in stow mode, like kind of like a transportation mode. And I always forget to do that on my phone. So I'm usually like completely disassembling it, trying to put it in the case, and I'm like, dang it, I forgot to put it in stow mode. So I'm gonna do that this time. This is probably the first time ever I've done it before disconnecting everything. Obviously it's up like that, facing the satellites, and hit stow mode. Bam, and now it's ready for transport. Just that simple, that one little step I forget like every single time. Try to wipe it down a little bit before I put it away. Well, that is just, there we go, good. And I bought a kit to do a professional install where the router will eventually be on the inside of the Airstream. And the reality is, I bought that kit 2 months ago and I have not made, can't say I haven't had a spare moment, I haven't made a spare moment to go ahead and finish that install. So I've been keeping this in the wheel well. I probably shouldn't say that, but I have, and it's been working great. Last steps, take the stand, put it in there like that. I take this, nice and snug in there. So while there are clearly obviously cheaper options, it's pretty slick.
I got the baby to go to sleep. So now for that shower. It's time to go into hyperdrive mode because we are 16 minutes past when we were supposed to leave. Thank goodness, technically our checkout isn't until 11. We used to just plan to get out by 11 at checkout time, but we'd probably be out at 1 o'clock if we did that these days. Okay, that water pressure is making us look like a liar, but I promise it's only gonna last like 30 seconds. See? Told ya. So, water pressure was pretty rough. Pretty sure I still have shampoo and conditioner in my hair, but I also realized because I'm hanging out with you this morning that I could probably turn on the water pump and just solve that problem. Some things in RV life you just gotta live with because you don't think of it all the way through. RV showers is probably the #1 thing that I could swap for the sticks and bricks. I had every intention of actually blowing my hair dry, but somebody took the world's shortest nap ever. You've probably also noticed this ridiculous box that we have and that we're passing back and forth throughout the Airstream. We're using this when we go to Chicago to put Dash's bed in for it to travel on an airplane. We thought this was a good idea and ordered the box about 2 weeks ago, but it's been basically the world's biggest pain in the butt. We're hoping that this is going to be worth it because the alternative was to rent a bed. We decided this would be the easier way. I'm kind of regretting that now, to be honest with you. Stay tuned for how that's going to go. Hey, dude. Here, look. Look, baby. Lemmy's so fun. Mommy's already got a blanket for you in the truck, so we don't have to do that. Oh. Let's grab some grab some binkies for the truck too. You're probably also wondering what the heck this is. This is actually a really cool new addition to how I do laundry around here. Especially when we're traveling, it basically sticks to the top of the wall and I can hang stuff to dry. Because I actually don't like to throw everything in the dryer, and it's not real convenient when, well, you don't have your own washer and dryer. But this works great. I have traveled with this multiple times, and it actually stays up while we're on the road. Now that I've said that on video, it probably won't today, but usually does.
So I am all hitched up. Everything except I just realized here, got my Anderson levelers. I'm just gonna roll forward just a little bit so I can slide those out. I keep those in the rear bumper towards the back here. Got my X-Shocks back here as well as my little wedges that go with the Anderson levelers. Some people put their dirty stuff here, like black hoses and kits and things like that, but I have more than would fit in here because I've got Magnum PIG, which if you're not familiar with Magnum PIG, that's our little pig that sits on top of the sewer. I couldn't use them here. You can't use them everywhere just because, like for instance, this sewer is raised up off the ground here. So what the Magnum PIG does is I fill him with water. It's a pink pig, and he sits on top of the sewer connection there, and it keeps it from bouncing off. A lot of campgrounds you can kind of screw in the connectors, but some it's just sort of a rock with a hole. So in those situations where it's a rock with a hole, it's good to have, you know, Magnum PIG guarding the hole, so we don't have any like runaway, you know, stuff. I don't want to get too graphic here, but you know what I'm talking about. So got everything set up, got all my water hoses disconnected and stored. I've just added some def to the truck as well. One of the fortunate things about owning a diesel truck, you've got to put some def in periodically as well. Everything connected here. I smashed my fingers when I was connecting the when I was putting the equalizer weight distribution hitch on there, and if you're familiar with what it's like to knock your fingers when it's super cold, it hurts like hell. So I smashed my finger and it's freezing out, and it was just like, why, God, why? It was one of those things, but I'm over it now. Mostly over it, everything but the crying, so time to move on.
This is my box that I put all the decorations in around the Airstream when we're traveling. And I stuff all the cabinets with the breakable stuff with towels, because it seems to make things, well, not break. And then I put it in the bathroom because, well, it's kind of a tight and closed space and it works. This baby Dash, we're getting close to being ready to go. You ready to go? Leave me coming on the ride with us, dude.
It's a little bit cold, so the PSI is really, really low right now. Granted, it'll warm up as we're driving, but as a rule of thumb, I like to keep the PSI at a minimum of 65, knowing it'll probably heat up to around 70 or so once we get on the road. This has a gauge, but to be honest with you, it's not really that accurate, so I've got this digital gauge. If you don't have one of these things, I'm not endorsed by Viair, but Viair makes a great air compressor here. Super easy to use, and I always check my tire PSI before we hit the road. I also torque my lug nuts as well every 500 to 1,000 miles.
Since Dash's bed is on legs, I figure it's probably not safe to travel with it like that. It's too easy to move around. So we remove the legs every time before we move. And I store the legs in the back on the bed. Gotta lock in the pantry so it doesn't cause a mess. And make sure those are clipped in too.
This is the torque wrench I just mentioned. I torque to about 110 foot-pounds of torque, but your wheels may differ. So just because I torque to 110, yours may be 120 or 90 or whatever it may be. So always consult the wheel manufacturer. Essentially what I do is when I'm torquing the lug nuts, let's just say for instance I start with this lug nut right here. I will not do them sequentially. I will skip to the one on the exact opposite side give that a little torque, and then I work my way over here to the top one again, and I kind of do like a 12-6 approach, 1-7, 2-8, and so on. There's not 12 lug nuts, but you kind of get the idea.
Inside of the Airstream is officially ready to travel. You'll see around here that there are some little things that are a little bit of everywhere, but if they're hanging out, it means that they're not heavy enough to actually do damage or be damaged by moving around in the earthquake that is about to happen inside of here. Last but not least inside thing, the trash. But we'll give Dee that job.
Now we just have to remember this is up here. I'm not saying we've hit the highway before realizing this was on the back of the truck, but it may or may not have happened. I can neither deny nor confirm that.
So now that we are finally about to leave, it's 10:39. So we crushed that goal of getting out on time, didn't we, dude? I'd like to blame it on RV life with the baby, but I'm not really sure that's very accurate.
Actually, it's not accurate at all because we've never been on time, even before this little guy joined us. Right, baby Dash? See, he knows better. Time to hit the road. Switching it to tow mode, and also we filled up last night. Fuel up before you hitch up. So if you're a newbie RVer, I'm gonna say this every time so you don't forget. Okay, so according,
please drive to highlighted route.
It is 10:43 and it says we'll arrive at 2:26 p.m. Now, we're traveling with baby, so it says the total drive time is 3 hours and 43 minutes. Arrival at 2:27. We'll see how accurate this is. Obviously, we're gonna have to stop because we have baby Dash, and maybe for some potty breaks too. I mean, you know, need those in there. And maybe we'll just get hungry.
So this is day one of a 2-day travel trek. And to be honest, we don't love doing these RV travel days. They're not the greatest, but it's kind of a requirement for us to get to our next stop before we head to the marathon. That being said, we're feeling like this kind of RV travel is kind of for the birds, and we're probably gonna be mixing it up soon.
Let's do this. Fast and Furious.